But with my mother, I had told her back in my 20s that, hey, I'm a pastor. I'm a Christian, you know that. And I for a long time, I hate you. I just want you to know I don't hate you anymore. But here's the thing. You want me to tell you I love you, and I can do that. Mom, I just can't tell you I love you because it's not there yet. In fact, I told her at that point, you will probably die without me uttering the words that you want to hear from me. I love you. And that's part of the reason why I had a problem for the next 3 decades. I kept that. That was my secret lock box. I will not tell my mom that I love her. She hurt me so bad when I was 12. That's the one thing that hurts her. I'm going to keep nailing it back into her life over and over and over again. Well, what happened was when I went through my recovery work, I had to got to this amends process and I got stuck. I got stuck because I had not opened this little box up. And when I opened the box up, I realized, wow, here we go. And so Mother's Day was approaching and I called my mom on Mother's Day. I think this was 2014. I called her and I said, Mom, I want to give you the gift that you've been kind of wanting for a long, long time. And it's not a gift that I can put into a box. In fact, if anything, it's a gift that I'm going to take out of a box today for you. I just want you to know, Mom, that I forgive you for what happened. She couldn't forgive herself. I found out that we talked for an hour and a half. She about how she spent years not being able to forgive herself for what she did to us kids. I said, I forgive you. But here as well, I'm going to ask that you forgive me too. I want you to know that I love you. And for whatever time you have left on this earth, I want you to know that you will hear those words over and over and over again. And we both cried like babies. We both had that moment of reconciliation. And it was so important. In fact, it became so valuable in my life because a year and a half later, I think, about a year and a half later, she passed away. And the last words that I said to her and the last words that she said to me, I love you. And I got to tell you, it's not in the Bible, my friend. It's not there. We know we know Jesus on the cross, his last words, it's finished. And into your hands, I commit my spirit. But I actually think without saying the words, Jesus said to the entire world on that day, I love you. I love you. And that's the Christ that I follow. That's the Christ that has revolutionized my life. It's reconciled my relationships. My dad and I, we just talked this week and we talked my dad and I never talked. We spent literally years not talking to one another. Maybe a call on Christmas for about 2 minutes. Now we talk for an hour and a half about just about everything. And we always he ends with saying, I love you, son. I said, Dad, I love you too.
I'll tell you, Rick, as we're coming towards the end here, I'm glad I asked that question too. And I really appreciate you sharing that story. And I'll bring it back full circle in some ways to the grace point, because we were debating in the beginning, grace is illogical. How do you do it? And I think that story in so many ways illustrates there actually is a deep logic in it, right? Your ability to show that grace for your mom, but also for yourself, opened up and allowed you so much of a better life because of it. And again, just being totally authentic, right? That's the spirit of it. Some people might hear this and think I'm full of shit or whatever. As you're telling that story, there is a physical feeling in me that I feel as I kind of think about what it must have felt like for your mom to hear that. And there's no words to describe it. It's a beautiful sentiment. And I do believe this. It might sound kind of whatever people would say it sounds like, but putting that into the world, that feeling existing for your mom and me being able to kind of feel that a little bit, there's something to that. There is something to that. So whether you believe in God, Jesus, whatever religion you believe in, or no religion at all, I'm a firm believer that the spirit of the grace that you're speaking of and what that allows for, what that brings in the world, there's nothing more logical to me than that if that feeling can be expanded and scaled, that's what we should be aiming for.